Good morning, boys. Now I'm going to teach you the powers of the president. You see, I have already taught you the other powers. Now today, I'll be teaching you about the discretionary powers of the president, which is very important. First of all, you have to understand the meaning of the word discretion. Discretion means when the president is not bound to hear the advice tendered to him by the prime minister. As you know, in India we have a parliamentary democracy and the president is bound by the constitution to act in accordance with the advices tendered to him by the prime minister. That means in order to exercise this power, the president can use his own discretion. There are few occasions when the president can use his discretion, and that is why this is called the discretionary powers of the president. Now the first, as I have written here, assentment of the bill. You see, a bill is generally passed by both the houses of the parliament, and thereafter it comes to the president for the assentment of the bill. Now the president can play with his discretion, he can sign on it, and the bill goes back to the parliament and becomes an act. He cannot sign it, he can hold it for some time. All right. Now he can hold the ordinary bills. You know, there are two types of bills, ordinary bills and money bills. Money bills he can maximum hold for 14 days. All right. But the other bills he can hold for unlimited time. There is no time binding for him, and he can hold it for quite some time. So that is what is the second point. First is the assentment of the bill. Second is no time limit to return. As a general process, the bills being signed, being passed by the parliament and thereafter signed by the president goes back to the parliament. But in case of ordinary bills, I'll write it, ordinary bills, he can withhold it for an unlimited period. The constitution has not given any time binding for the return of such bills. That is only for ordinary bills. All right. The next discretionary power of the president is that he can appoint the PM and his council of ministers when no single party holds the majority. All right. Generally what happens, appointment of the prime minister is not at all a discretion of the president. It is just a formality for the president. What happens after the Lok Sabha election, after every 5 years, you know that the new Lok Sabha is made, all right, and immediately after the Lok Sabha is made, a new government is also formed, all right. Now, at this juncture, what happens after the formation of the Lok Sabha? The president is bound to call the leader of the majority party. Here you have to understand, majority party means the party that holds minimum 50% plus one majority in the Lok Sabha. The leader of that majority party will be convened conventionally by the President of India to become the Prime Minister. And then on the advice of the Prime Minister, he also appoints all the other ministers. It is a general convention in India. All right, it is a general political convention in India. But sometimes it happens that no single party can hold the majority of 50% plus 1. So at that time what happens? The president may ask the leader with maximum majority to muster support from other parties and form a new government. Sometimes it happens in India, like we have a system of pre-poll alliances. NDA is a pre-poll alliance, UPA is a pre-poll alliance. These are the alliances of some of the political parties, and they have made their alliances even before the Lok Sabha election, or in many states even in Vidhan Sabha elections. All right. Like today's government is the NDA government being led by Mr. Narendra Modi. All right. So sometime what happens, 2-3 parties make a coalition and thereafter they attain the required majority of 50% plus 1 and form the government. So even at that time, the president only has to go through his formalities. The question of discretion crops up only when no party has majority, and at that time the president starts with his discretion. Sometimes it happens when 2-3 parties or 4 parties together also fails to form a coalition. The president may appoint the leader of a party on whom he has faith that he will be able to take support from other parties and will form a stable government. Let me tell you one thing, that this sort of government has not been very, very successful in India. All right. So in these cases, when no party or a coalition of parties fail to attain 50% plus 1 majority, the president may use his discretion in the appointment of a prime minister. Sorry. Apart from that, the other discretionary power of the president is during the president's rule or during the emergency. During emergency, what happens? You see, when emergency is imposed in the country, the president attains some power in his hand. Although it is said that he becomes virtually a dictator at that time and he can use all his powers properly. But let me tell you one thing, that even at that time, our cabinet exists. The Lok Sabha may remain dissolved or it can be kept under suspended animation, but the cabinet remains there. You see, last time when in 1975, when Mrs. Gandhi in fact had imposed emergency, it is not the then President of India, but the Prime Minister, as a matter of fact or in real sense, Mrs. Indira Gandhi had attained huge powers in his hand. And at that time, after some time, in the year 1978, you see, an act was passed, and that act stated that the president is bound to hear the advices tendered to him by the Prime Minister. Prior to that, there was a system that the president could hold some real power in his hand. But this is the political development in India, particularly after the 42nd Amendment Act, that the power of the president ultimately decreased. He had no real power, and all the powers vested in the name of the president ultimately is exercised by the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers. So, therefore I tell you that even after the emergency, through the various acts, the powers of the president have been decreased. All right. So, during the emergency, I told you all these things in order to make you understand, even during emergency, although it is said the president becomes the real head of the country, but the fact is not the same. All right. But during president's rule, during emergency, or when the president's rule is imposed, president's rule means when there is a constitutional failure in a state, when the state government has lost, or the ruling party has lost its majority, and no other party could form a government. So this is called the constitutional breakdown in a state. So at that time what happens? When there is no way out for the formation of a state government, then the president's rule is imposed. President's rule have been imposed in India on so many occasions. All right. That I'll discuss when I'll discuss you about the emergency powers of the President of India. So at that time it is said that the state is put under the president's rule. But the fact is, it's not put under the president's rule, it's put under the rule of the union government. Even the budget of the state at that juncture is made by the union parliament. All right. So, but these are some of the discretionary powers of the president. A president can use this discretion to a great extent, and let me tell you one thing very clearly, that during emergency or president's rule, the president gains some power. At least the president can give advice to the prime minister, or the entire rule in the country or in the states, when president's rules are imposed, are done with their mutual understanding. All right. So president at that time becomes a little powerful, no doubt about it. Okay. The prime minister can in no sense can devoid his decisions in the administration. All right. The prime minister at any cost cannot avoid his duty.